Hello, my friends. We are back at it again. Another day. All right, some more great algebra. And today we're going to continue working with lines. We're going to talk about graphing lines. And we want you to see some patterns first. And once again, we're going to explore this through Desmos. You have on Unit 2, Lesson 6 here. All right, excuse me, Lesson 4, I should say. Lesson 4, Unit 2. All right, Lesson 4. All right, graphing lines. All right, this is the notes that you should have, and we're really going to focus just on this first page, front and back, for your exploration right now. All right, and so what you're going to do is go to Desmos.com. All right, you're going to graph this line, you're going to plot the point, and then you're going to answer the questions. All right, and you're going to have 6 different lines and points, sets of lines and points to graph, and that we're hoping that by the end you will see some patterns there. Now, to help you, I'm going to show you a couple of things just on Desmos real quick. So one of the things I like to do, all right, is if you hit the little wrench here, right, graph settings. So here's what I like to do to help me when I'm graphing and looking at things. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to take out the minor grid lines. It just makes it easier for me to see. Now, the other thing is if you come down here, it's going to go from -10 to 10, and I'm going to put in a step of 1 right here. All right, so then it counts by ones. All right, along my x-axis. Now I'm going to come down to the y-axis, and I'm going to put in the same thing here. I'm going to have -10, all right, and I'm going to type in 10 here, and then I'm going to put in a step of 1. All right, now the last thing is, so this gives us basically a 10 by 10 grid for you, and it's nice and crisp and clean, and it's going to help you see the points a little bit better. And then the last thing I do here is I hit square, and that just makes everything nice and neat there. All right, so I do that just to help me when I'm using Desmos to see everything. All right, so here's what we want you to do. All right, and we're going to want you to plot the line or graph the line. So I'm going to type it just like it looks. So y equals 2, open parentheses, x minus 1, and then plus 1. And you can see there's my line. All right, and I'm going to plot the point 1, 1. Just like that. All right. And then you can see that that's purple. The color here shows me purple there. I can see that it's on the line. So that's what we want you to do. Now, once you're done with this, right, then part C here says sketch this line. So pick 2 or 3 good points off this line, plot them and draw that line really quick there. All right, find the slope between the 2 points. All right, and so just kind of go through and answer these questions. So, so go ahead and do that. Pause the video. Go ahead and do that for questions 1, 2, 3 on the front side, and then 4, 5, 6 on the back side. And we're going to come back, and I'll come back and summarize with you kind of what your results should be. So pause the video, do this exploration, and then come back and let's talk about it. Okay, so I did the exploration myself as well. So I'm going to pull my notes up here, and we're going to see kind of how everything went for it. So here's really what we want you to see. All right. So when we're going through everything, all right, we want you to, all right, plot the line, plot the point. So here's the first thing that we wanted you to see. Let me click this here on my computer so nothing makes a noise on us. All right. So we have our line here. Okay. So what do we notice about the line you graphed in the equation? All right. So one is the point 1, 1 is on the line. All right, so we saw that, right? Now, going back to what we talked about in our prior lesson, we should be able to find our slope, all right, because we know it's just rise over run. And we get to that 2 over 1 here. All right, so I go up 2, I go over 1. All right, now, so here's some of the patterns that we wanted to see. So I see the slope is 2 over 1. Do you see the slope in the equation? The answer is hopefully yes. It's right there, correct? All right. Now, the other thing is, let's look at this point, 1, 1. Do you see that in your equation? Oh, man, look at this. There's a 1 and there's a 1 right there. Does that tie into this point right here? Well, let's go through and look at the rest of the problems. Okay, so let's look at number 2 here. All right, so when we look at this, we graph this line. 4, -1 is on that line. And, man, look right there. If I look 4, -1. 4, -1. That looks very similar. Hopefully when you did your rise over run, you get -1 over 2 for your slope. And where do I see that? In front of those parentheses again. All right. Okay, now let's look at problem 3 here. Let's look at problem 3. All right. Negative 3, 1. All right. Negative 3, 1. Right here. Right? There's negative 3, 1. That's our point. It's on the line again. Now notice something here. All right, so let's look at this. All right, so if I go back and look at all my points, my y-coordinate is 1 here. I see a positive 1 here. My y-coordinate is negative 1 here. I see negative 1 here. My y-coordinate here is 1. I see positive 1 here. So it looks like there's a direct correlation between the number out here and this number. Now let's go back and look at the x's. My x here is 1, but I see a minus 1 or a negative 1. My x here is 4, and I see a minus 4. I see a negative 3 here, and I see now a positive 3. All right, so maybe there's a pattern there, right? Seeing that in the equation. All right. Now, once again, if you go back and do my slope here, I go up 3 to the right 4. My slope is 3/4, and look at that. It's right there in the equation. So maybe that equation gives me everything I need to graph a line. It's all right there for me, right? It should make sense that everything in that equation has a purpose, a reason why it's there. All right, so let's look at the backside here. All right, so once again, all right, we graph our line, plot 5, 0. There's 5, 0. It's on the line. Now look at that pattern. This x is 5. There's a 5. The 0, there's nothing out here, right? Because I wouldn't write a 0. Makes sense, right? And if I do my slope, I go up 3 to the right 1. All right? And then once again, I see 3/1 right there. Okay, moving to number 5. All right, there's our line. Plot the point negative 5, 0. It's on our line. All right, and then once again, look at this. All right, look at this. Positive 5, negative 5. It's the opposite, just like it was on the other side. And once again, my y-coordinate is 0. There's nothing out here. All right, so there really is a 0, like a plus 0 out there, but mathematically we don't write that. Once again, if I look at my slope, I go up 3 to the right 1, 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 and I can see that line, or the slope of my line right there. All right, finally, last one, 3x plus 5. Now we have 0, 5, and if I look at my line, 0, 5 is definitely on the line. Now notice something here. I have my 5 here. The plus 5 is back, right? So there's the plus 5, there's a plus 5, right? All right, now notice the difference in this equation. All right, I'm going to go back and look. We have an x value, we have parentheses. 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 We have an x value, we have a parenthesis. Notice, x is 0, there's no parentheses. All right, so it really is a 0 there, but we don't have to write x minus 0 because x minus 0 is still 0. And then once again, you can see that we have the slope of 3/1. All right. So, and there's that 3/1. So the big idea we wanted you to get out of, all right, this exploration is that when we look at an equation of a line, we have a lot of information there. Every equation of a line is going to give us 2 pieces of information, which is going to be crucial and critical to graphing a line. We should always be able to see our slope in the equation. And we saw that, right? Every problem we saw the slope. All right. The other thing is that there's always going to be 1 point in that equation. All right. So that wraps up this lesson. All right. This exploration. All right. We'll dive more into this in our lesson together tomorrow. So what you need to do is just go ahead and do your Algebra 1, Unit 2, Lesson 4 video check-in. Let us know your thoughts, how you did on this, what you understand, what you don't understand, and we can address that tomorrow. All right, you guys have a great night. See ya.